Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose, and as promised in my last Journal with Me video, I'm going to share a flip through of my completed TN insert. So I'm using a Vintage Light Traveller's Notebook cover from Start Bay Notebooks. And the insert that I've just finished I've been using for quite a while now. So this is my second completed insert in this kind of style, and I started it back in March 2018. So it's taken me quite a while to finish. I tend to just use this journal when I'm really in the mood for creating and have some spare time, and very often these are the pages I also film on YouTube. So I just tend to do these when I've got something that I really want to write about. So in the front I've stuck in a business card from London Gifties, and my style's changed quite a lot. So these were my first ones in this journal, and this was where I was writing about how excited I was that the Easter break was coming. And these I used to document a day out where I was going for a walk and took lots of pictures of nature and the rivers, and a really lovely day to document. And this was before I had my HP sprocket, so I just printed the photos out using my home printer. And this is really when I first started playing around with collage and stamping and adding little bits of watercolour paint, and I can see with that I used my dip pen. And here again I'm still getting a bit more used to using watercolours in my journal, and then playing around with different collage, and that's got a combination of papers and washi tape in there. So again, still really trying to find my style and what suited me. So this is April 2018. I obviously had lots that I wanted to write about at the time. I was going through a big period of change, and just added some simple decorations. And this, I think, might be the very first page that I actually filmed on YouTube in doing the journal with me's. And I actually started to feel a bit more confident in adding some sketches and watercolour directly onto my journal pages. And by now I'd started playing around with wax seals and still adding a little more painting. And these were really simple pages, but I was actually really happy with them. I felt that they were nicely balanced, and I liked the colour choices and the boldness of the lettering for the quote in the middle. And this was from some lovely happy mail that I received from My BF Illustration. And again, I was really happy with these. I think I'm probably quite drawn to pinks and definitely flowers, so I'm really happy with how those pages turned out, and I think it's progressing more and more towards the kind of style that I use most of the time on my journal pages now. On these ones I'd started playing around with Distress Oxide inks and stencils, and was really happy with how they were starting to look, and again playing with watercolour in my journal. And this is some documenting from when we were on holiday on the Isle of Wight last year, and I just took some basic supplies with me when we were away so that I could start to document things, and then other bits I added once we got home. This is something I like to do occasionally. I just use watercolour as a wet wash on the back of my pages, and I knew I had a month of really big change coming up, and I've just then written a few notes under every day. And that was before I started to get into these types of journals where it's already got that space there written out, so I can just add to that every evening. Here I started playing around with watercolour paints more and actually used that as the main feature on those pages. For this spread I was sent a selection of goodies by Notebook Therapy and used those to create some pages really dedicated to nature and walking outside. And again some more watercolours, wax seals and collage, and this is back in November 2018. And these I really like because I love the combination of some of the dark browns and reds. I think it's quite a striking colour combination. So these are my first pages from the beginning of this year. And I tried out stamping on vellum pieces along with some stenciling and collage too. I remember having fun with these pages. I love painting feathers. They're really nice and simple shapes and you can decorate them in any way that you like. And I was talking in here about how my heart's full of dreams at the moment and how I really want to be able to sort of bring those properly into my life. This side was some paper that I received from London Gifties, so I've just used it as a whole backing on that side, which I really like, and then just tried to tie in with it with some paint splotches on the left. These are probably some more of my favourite pages. I love playing around with watercolour in my journal. These were some that I actually started to film when I was with Craft Stash, when we were getting ready to launch my own products, and also when I did some filming for the Simply Lettering magazine. So these were literally just a start to show how I might start the sort of composition of a journal page. And then when I got my new products, I did some sample pages so that on the Craft Stash website behind the products, there's some photos of them in use in my journal. So using some die cuts for borders and hearts, and again with watercolour splotches. And this I loved because I started using some different coloured ink, which I don't do very often. I tend to use black, but I really liked using that to tie in with the different colours of the washi and the flowers. I had great fun with this one, doing my watercolour planet and tying it in with those transfer stickers and brightly coloured washi tape, and again using some different coloured inks. And I also really like mixing around my font styles from some really simple sort of text writing along with them with some hand lettering. And these pages again were using my products, so having a play around with those and using them in my journal. And did some whole pages about our dog Barney, who I missed massively from when we were away on holiday. And these I loved creating. I was thinking about what a journal means to me, why it's so important in my life, and again started to incorporate some of the products from my range. And these were the most recent ones you'll have seen me share here on YouTube, where I created or decorated the pocket and added a tag, and I started using the watercolour splotches to tie in with the colour theme. And actually in this week's journal that I fill in every evening, I've used that same kind of effect again, just to tie in with the lovely washi tapes. So I've got a nice colour theme for my journal pages. So I really hope you've enjoyed seeing how my styles changed and progressed throughout the use of this journal, and I hope it inspires you that if you're at a point where you're not quite happy yet with your journal pages, just keep having a go, because you'll naturally start to identify what things you enjoy, which you don't, And I love watching other people's YouTube videos and looking on Pinterest and getting ideas for colour schemes and layouts. It's a really great way to then start practicing in your journal. And to me, the most important thing is getting everything documented that I want, but I love having a bit of creative fun whilst I'm in my journal too. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, it'd be great if you'd leave it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them down below and I'll definitely get back to you. Thank you ever so much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you really soon in the next one.